Hi there, good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show that is dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So, we're here to do the mini series that we've been running. Now, I guess this is the second episode, it'll be 6 episodes in total. This is called One Question. So, every week, Ben's going to give me a question, and my job is to answer it. So the question he gave me this week is my top 10 favorite bands or artists that came out of the United States of America, the good old US of A. So this wasn't terribly hard to do because most of these bands are what I would call legacy bands, of course. Most of them are nostalgic for me, and almost all of them go back to my youth, except for one, which I think, even though it came from my youth, I didn't really follow them until the channel started. So I got them in the order I want them. Ironically, most of them are hard rock bands with some pop bands, power pop bands, and one particular artist that maybe what you might consider folk, hard rock, all kinds of different things. So let's get started because these kind of things usually take a little bit of time. So we're gonna go from my least favorite to my most favorite, the normal way we do it. In this case, 10 to first, or least to first, or worst to first, whatever you want to call it. Um, and they're all American. All these bands are American. So the first one out of the gate, coming in at number 10, Aerosmith. Ooh, not so easy to see those light-colored pictures there with this bright, bright light going on. Anyways, this is Aerosmith's Draw the Line album. This was probably my first Aerosmith album, I think. I had it on cassette. I remember having it on cassette. Very, very kind of early. Um, I don't know, I forgot about this, but I had this on cassette probably when I was still living with my entire family before my parents split um, back probably around 1977. Like I did say, I was primarily a Kiss guy. That's all I basically listened to. I did have a few cassettes and a few other albums by other bands. This was one of them. I actually got this. I don't even know where I got this, to be honest. I know I all of a sudden I had it. I got it off somebody. I can't remember where it was. But anyways, Aerosmith in the 10th spot. In the ninth spot, Steve Miller. Now, Steve Miller would have been higher 20, 30, 40 years ago because I was a big fan of him, but I haven't followed him as much over the last 2 or 3 decades. Although I do like this particular album and some of the other stuff he's done as well, which put him in that legacy position. So, Steve Miller, or the Steve Miller Band, coming here at number 9. Number 8, um, the Eagles. Based on this album and based on the long run, I really like the long run. This one I don't mind, and some of their earlier albums I don't mind as well. But they were a kind of a legacy band. They kind of came on early in my listening to music and kind of cemented themselves up at the top. So number 8, the Eagles. Number 7, kind of the same thing. A couple of albums, really, only this one, Dream Police, and Heaven Tonight were the 3 albums that kind of cemented them as one of my favorite bands of that time period. But they've hung on primarily due to legacy. I don't really follow them much anymore, although I did buy one recently. It's going to be in my new albums released. You'll see that this week when I do it. Kind of thought, you know what? I haven't listened to them for a long time. Maybe I'll give them a little bit more of a chance. So, Cheap Trick in the 7th spot. In the 6th spot, Heart. Most people know I like these guys a lot. They've managed to do fairly well even in the modern era for me. Yes, they're a legacy band going back to the early 1980s when this album came out. I now have all of the albums that I want from them. I don't think I would ever listen to any of their stuff from the 80s or 90s, but I do like the original stuff quite a bit. So they will cement themselves in the 6th spot. Now we move into the top 5. These are bands, for the most part, I still like quite a bit, even though I don't really listen to, I don't think I really listen to any of these bands much anymore, except for one. There's one of them in here, two of them actually, that I still listen to quite a bit. So the next one up is Van Halen in the fifth spot. This is a legacy band for me as well. Very big at the time that I started following them in the early 80s through probably the mid 80s. With 2 or 3 years, collected all the albums except for the 1984 one, which I just got recently. But pretty much all of their stuff, I was a big fan of them, listened to them all the time, still like them quite a bit, but I don't follow them as much as I used to. That's number 5. Number 4 is Kiss. At one time, this was easily my favorite band. This album was one of my favorite albums. I listened to this band a lot. Um, Probably all of their early albums, I probably listened more than 1,000 times because there would be times, just to give you a hint, when I bought this album, I probably listened to it every day for a month or 2 months, like 15, 20 times a day. You do that long enough, you'll get close to 1,000 fairly quickly. So yeah, almost all the Kiss albums have that particular part of them too. At least this one, Destroyer, Love Gun, their debut album, and Hotter Than Hell. Not so much Dress to Kill, and of course Alive and Alive 2 and their solo albums. All those albums got huge amounts of listening to. So Kiss, number 4. Number 3, this band I'm listening to a lot more now. I like their initial album that I bought from them. I don't know why I never really continued to buy from them, but I guess maybe I just didn't see them around or whatever it was. But Blue Oyster Cult, this is Cultosaurus erectus. Um, this one will probably be going in my playlist fairly soon. Really good stuff. They have some of my favorite albums that I've discovered on this channel. Been Blue Oyster Cult. This band has really moved up. If you've done this back in the 80s, they would have finished below every single one of the bands I just mentioned. But today they're coming in number 3. Number 2, this is a bit of a misnomer. It's the only solo artist here. So some people are going to say, hey, wait a minute, that guy's Canadian. But he's not anymore, unfortunately. He became an American citizen. He's now an American. Neil Young. Some people still say he's Canadian, but technically speaking, he isn't anymore. Technically speaking, he's American. But whether he's Canadian or American, I still love the guy. I like a lot of his stuff. He seems to have a set of albums that I really love and another set that I don't really care much for. But man, he's got so many albums, I'm sure I can find enough to make me happy. Neil Young, sorry, I forgot to mention his name. Number 1, shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. Easily my favorite American band, has been my favorite American band, probably since Kiss started the nosedive. When that started, like in the 80s. So it's probably been, a good 35, 40 years since Kiss fell out of that spot. So this band, Styx, is my favorite American band. Actually, one of my favorite bands, period. They have a new album coming out, which I really love. I think is going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. This is their Wooden Nickel collection, of course. But yeah, I like almost all of their early stuff through to all the way up to about Paradise Theater. Then not so much until recent years. I do like the last 3. So making a bit of a comeback. So Styx is number 1. Okay, so I'll just give them to you all again so that just in case you didn't get it. Styx is number 1. Neil Young is number 2. Blue Oyster Cult number 3. Kiss number 4. Van Halen number 5. Heart number 6. Cheap Trick number 7. The Eagles number 8. Steve Miller number 9, or the Steve Miller Band, and of course Aerosmith at number 10. Now, the funny thing with Aerosmith is I've just started to collect some of their earlier albums that I never owned, so maybe they might move up a little bit. Trying to get a little bit more back into them. I do like their stuff quite a bit. It's just I haven't followed them for decades. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the mini series we're running, which is one question. And the question today, of course, was who are your favorite American bands or artists, your top 10 favorite. So hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit the like and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow night with another episode. Take care. Have yourself a good one. Goodbye.